But then when the pandemic hit, it really accelerated their need for the cloud, because suddenly their staff can't be in the same room with each other, which means they can't be in a data center. They can't be in an operations room. The DBAs can't all be sitting in the same room with the business people trying to figure out the problem. And they ran into challenges with their on-prem solutions. And so I think that drove it. And certainly when I was at Snowflake, we saw a fairly massive acceleration of companies that had maybe been in talks with Snowflake for, half a year or more, suddenly are going, okay, let's finalize this. Let's go. How fast can we now get moved over to the Snowflake platform? And that was a very obvious thing that we saw happen with a lot of our big customers that were coming in. And I think part of it, though, is people were moving that way. Well, in the ensuing couple of years, we had some major on-prem breaches, like Target was one of the big ones here in the US. And so in the first couple of years, people, while they were skeptical of the cloud, it became more and more obvious that just by being on-prem didn't mean you were secure, because the hacks were getting worse and the breaches were getting worse. And so, okay, well, if our reason for not going to the cloud is we're afraid it's not secure, we now have all these case studies showing us, the reality and headlines in the news of these major, massive breaches that weren't in the cloud. And then you look at what AWS and Azure and Google were doing, and moving their business models into the cloud, where it became more and more necessary for the security to be there, right? We used to say, their business models are based on the data being secure. If your data is not secure in the cloud platform, well, then they're never going to succeed as a business. And so I think over time, people got more confidence. There were some first movers that moved some fairly sensitive data into the cloud and showed that it was secure. And eventually, companies that told me 1 year will never, I had people telling me, never will we move our data to the cloud. 2 years later, they're calling and saying, come on in and talk to us. We need to move to the cloud. And then the pandemic hit, and that accelerated even more.